يا خاطب الحور الحسان وطالبا لوصالهن بجنة الحيوان.
الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن سار على سبيله إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد. After praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and sending the salutation upon His Prophet Islam, that we wish to thank the brothers and those who are the administrators of this particular masjid for extending to us this invitation for us to come today and to discuss this particular topic with you. And the topic that we'll be discussing, that it has its importance from the past and still continuing today. As we inshallah ta'ala will try to discuss the importance of this topic, which the topic which has been titled, the manhaj or the methodology of the Salaf-Us-Saalih, and the Ummah needs to returning to this particular way of the Salaf-Us-Saalih. So as we can see today, regarding the Muslim Ummah, regarding that we are going in different directions, regarding our Islam and these things, and we need now to kind of somewhat to relook as to which way to go forward. And as we know that Islam have given us a way forward, but it's for us to understand this way and also try to adopt it. So our discussion concerning today is regarding that regarding discussing certain matters regarding the Salaf-Us-Saalih and the correctness of this manhaj that they have left us behind to be followed. And this can be summarized in the statement of Imam Malik rahimahullah, when he kind of somewhat pointed out to us the importance of this particular manhaj of sticking to the way the Salaf-Us-Saalih mentioned, لَنْ يُصْلِحْ آخر هذه الأمة إلا بما صلح به أولها. That Imam Malik rahimahullah, he kind of somewhat mentioned that this ummah, the last or those to come after, will not of this ummah will not per se be correct upon what they are upon until they go back to the way that made the first of this ummah correct in the way that they approach Islam. So correction and being upon the correct path, that we need to look to the way of our Salaf-Us-Saalih and try to understand and to adopt their ways. So our discussion, inshallah ta'ala, will be discussing those particular matters. So as we said, we look to the Ummah today, as it is now mentioned to us regarding the Ummah being tafarruq, falling into differences in all different areas. But still, we have a method that have been left behind from those of before and still present with us today. And it's for us to alter this way, for us to find the glory regarding our deen and our own lives. So as for our discussion today, inshallah, we try to bring to our attention certain things that kind of somewhat are considered to be of the usul of the da'wah of Ahl-Sunnah and the manhaj Salaf-Us-Saalih, regarding of those things that are we deemed upon as some of the usul that can somewhat distinguish the da'wah of Ahl-Sunnah upon the way of the Salaf-Us-Saalih, that can somewhat put them aside from other groups. And as we know, there are many of the Islamic so-called groups that everyone claiming to be correct. But to find that, to make a distinction regarding those who are correct and those who are not, then the only scale that we can use is the Quran, the Sunnah, and the way of the Salaf-Us-Saalih. So from this of those things that distinguish Ahl-Sunnah, element of Salaf-Us-Saalih, regarding their da'wah and its principles, of those things that we can take into consideration, one, regarding concern al-wasatiyah, regarding them falling away, which is al-wasat. And this Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned is by stating, وَكَذَلِكَ جَعَلْنَاكُمْ أُمَّةً وَسَطًا. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned to us in His book by stating to the Muslim, وَكَذَلِكَ, and by this, that we have made you, this ummah of Islam, wasata, a ummah which is wasat. And the ulama of tafsir are mentioned concerning that al-wasat, regarding concerning al-khiyar wal-adl, that those ummah of Islam is a balance way and also the best way to be followed if we were to implement Islam accordingly. If we were to implement Islam accordingly. And this requires concerning a Muslim looking to a religion and trying to adopt it as it is. To adopt it as it is. And you find regarding this matter, trying to be Ummah al-Wasata, the ulama explain that concerning of those matters, one, the Salaf-Us-Saalih, in being that nation that is considered to be of those that are upon the Wasat approach, that what we find with them, of those things, they give a lot of importance regarding matters relating to ilm. So it's matter regarding having knowledge of Islam, for a person to be considered or to fall into those that are considered to be Wasat, those who wish to be upon the way of the Salaf-Us-Saalih, that you have to give due importance to matter relating to ilm and also to the ulama. So giving due importance to matters regarding al-ilm and also regarding the two ihtiram lil-ulama, as-sunnah, and also each of us trying to seek knowledge of Islam regarding those things that each of us need so as we can function on a day-to-day basis. And this Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in His book in many places regarding the importance concerning al-ilm and also of the aqwal of the Salaf. And of that, we just mentioned a few ahadith somewhat to bring our attention to the importance concerning ilm, and that is Ummah will only attain its glory through ilm, as the knowledge of Islam, and also by applying what we have learned. And this can somewhat summarize in the hadith of Abdullah ibn Amr ibn As عنهما قال رسول الله سمعت رسول الله عليه السلام يقول إن الله لا يقبل العلم انتزاعا من الناس ولكن يقبل العلم بقبض العلماء حتى إذا لم يبقي عالما اتخذ الناس رؤوسا جهال فسهلوا وأفتوا بغير علم فضلوا وأضلوا. Al-Hadith muttafaqun alayh. So the Prophet Islam regarding concerning this matter, regarding the importance of ilm, that he can somewhat states, and also the ulama being those ones who lead regarding those particular matters regarding the ummah being of leading. Here Islam told us in the hadith, إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يَقْبِضُ الْعِلْمِ انْتِزَاعًا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not remove ilm suddenly from the people, but rather this knowledge it is taken away, as I mentioned, بِقَبْضِ الْعُلَمَاء, with the death of the ulama, until no one remains from the people of ilm. Then the people, they will appoint and take ru'asa, juhal, they will take individual as to be their leaders, those will be in a charge of their affairs, but those people are described as juhala. Those people are juhal. People are in actual fact leaders, but they're ignorant. They mention فَسُهِلُوا وَأَفْتَوْا بِغَيْرِ ilm. And those people who are taken as the ru'asa, who are juhal, they will be asked, they will be questioned regarding matters, and those people will give answers without knowledge. And with this, it will lead to their misguidance and also them misguiding others. So it shows concern that there is ummah, as mentioned by Imam Malik, that for us to return, for us to be successful, and us to be of those Muslims who set the best example, that the first, we need to go back to what the ummah were upon in the early days. So this hadith shows that of those things that we need to have in place is regarding ulama to sunnah, leading and guiding us regarding our religion. But also I mentioned that it will remove ulama, and this is by the taking of the death of the ulama. But what we will find that what will replace them are people who will be taken as leaders. But those people, they're ignorant, and they'll be questioned regarding matters of deen, and those people will give answers based upon ignorance, and the result of this will be misguidance for all. Those who are in authority will give fatwa bidun ilm, and also those who respond and take those fatwa. So it shows concern the Muslim that regarding of the things of going forward and going back to the glory days of Islam and the way of the Salaf-Us-Saalih, regarding what they have left behind for us, is for us to give attention to the ulama and try to benefit from them, and also to follow their guidance and to stay away from people who are the ru'asa al-juhal, people who are in authority but in reality they're ignorant. That in reality they're ignorant. And today we see with all these new forms of way of passing of information, that we find that many who speaks about Islam, many of those who represent Islam, that unfortunately that sometimes they themselves give misrepresentation of Islam and leave the Muslim in a situation which make the situation even worse. And also the Prophet ﷺ, of those in the hadith of Abu Sa'id al-Khudri عنه قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم كان في من كان قبلكم رجل قتل 99 نفسا. That he and Islam to summarize regarding of the state and the condition of the people before, and to bring our attention regarding how things change or how certain things occur with some of the people before, by stating in this hadith that a lot of lesson to be learned. We mentioned that as for the people before you, that there was a man, a pluralist man, that he had killed over 99 persons, individual. Then a person, fasala, an alam al-ard. Then a person he asked regarding who is the most knowledgeable person on the earth. Fadullu al-rahib. So the people, they directed him to a person, a rahib, like a monk, a person involved in acts of worship, from an abid, but a person not known for ilm. Fa'atahu. So they came, so they presented this person who have done this act of murder of X amount of people. So they present themselves in front of this rahib. And they said, فَقَالْ إِنَّهُ, meaning this person, قَتَلَ 99 نَفْسًا فَهَلْ لَهُ مِنْ تَوْبَةٍ. So they asked this person, the case of this person is that he has killed 99 individuals. Is there any tawbah for such a person? فَقَالْ, that this person, the rahib, لَا. So he said, this person, there is no tawbah. So what the person did, فَقَتَلَهُ فَكَمَّلْ بِهِ مِيَةً. So he killed him and made him the 100th person to be killed. And he shows concerning that the state regarding people of ignorance, that the problem that they bring upon themselves and for others. So for Islam to go forward, if we were to look regarding what occurred in the early days, that the people who were leading, the people who were the ru'asa, they were the people of the ulama. And so Islam was able to flourish, and the Muslims were able to flourish. But when the situation it changed, and the ignorant became the alim, and vice versa, and the likes, then the situation it became to our own condemnation and destruction. So he mentioned, قال لا فقتله فكمل به 100. So this person, when he said that, he left the person without any hope, and also closed the door of tawbah to that individual, and of the thing that he spoke without knowledge. So the individual who was known for killing people, he also then killed this person and made him the 100th person to be killed. Then I mentioned ثم سال an Adam, then again the person still pursuing, wanting to rectify his own situation. And this Ummah Islam, of the people of Ahl-Sunnah, upon who wants to be upon the Salaf-Us-Saalih, that when we see deficiencies within ourselves, then we should still try to rectify them. And always seek to find those people of the ulama, those people who can assist us in making our situation better, that we try to seek for those individuals and try to work with them. So this person was a murderer. After giving the wrong answer, after being directed to a person who was not qualified to speak regarding matters of Islam, then that person eventually, he bring about his own death. But the murderer still wanted to make the situation, his own situation, better. And you find the Muslim today that sometimes our intention is good. We want good for ourselves. We want good for Islam. We want good for the Muslim. But it's knowing the way in achieving that good. And we see the example today. For the past 15 years or so, we have seen that it requires for us, our situation to improve. We need more than just wanting good. We need to have also the proper method and way in to bring about this good for ourselves. So this person, this murderer, is asked again regarding and having also the right frame of mind. Who is that person who is the most knowledgeable amongst the people on earth? So the people to rectify our situation, those are the people of the ulama. They are the ones who are the work of Anbiya. They are the ones who are the success of the prophets. So they have the system, they have the blueprint that have been left to us by the Prophet Islam regarding how to bring about good for ourselves. So then this person asks regarding this matter. Then the people, they directed him again, that they mentioned, فَدُلَّ عَلَى رَجُلٍ عَالِمٍ. That the person this time, he was directed to a rajul, alim. فَقَالْ إِنَّهُ قَتَلَ 100 نَفْسٍ. So that again they make the situation clear to the alim. That this person that is sitting in front of you, or this person whose case is in front of you, that he have killed over 100 people. And this also can somewhat is for us a lesson to be learned, especially for those who live in the West. Regarding when we put cases or situations to the ulama, that we should try to be as precise as possible regarding information being given. Not to give things so it can serve to our own advantage and be to disadvantage of that person. So those people, they make it clear to the alim, this person in front of you have killed X amount of people. What's his problem? What he wants? فَهَلْ لَهُ مِنْ تَوْبَةٍ. He wants tawbah. So the alim now has the picture of the situation that now he can give the hukum. فَقَالْ نَعْمٍ. So the alim speaking based upon ilm, knowing that the door of tawbah is always open to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, except for those cases where it is exempt. But in general concerning bab tawbah maftuh. فَقَالْ نَعْمٍ. Then he mentioned and continue, knowing the situation of a person, فَقَالْ, that alim, وَمَنْ يَقُولْ بَيْنَهُ وَبَيْنَ تَوْبَتِهِ. And who's the one to come between him and his tawbah? So tawbah is not about the alim having tawbah in his possession, that he gives it to who he wants and who he doesn't want. It's not a right of an alim. And we're not here to belittle the ulama. So tawbah is a right of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But the alim is the one to clarify to the person the method and the way to seek of this tawbah. So he clarified to the person, وَمَنْ يَقُولْ بَيْنَهُ وَبَيْنَ تَوْبَتِهِ. Who's the one to come between him and his tawbah, regardless of your sins, regardless of your issues regarding killing all these people. Then he told him again, the alim, so clarifying the hukum regarding that person, then also the alim having basira, and wanting good for that person, and not closing the door on that person, as the case of the first. فَقَالْ انْطَلَقْ إِلَىٰ أَرْضٍ كَذَا وَكَذَا. Then he told him as a way of advice and wanting good for that person, go to such and such place, land. فَإِنَّ بِهَا أُنَاسٍ يَعْبُدُونَ اللَّهِ. That their people go to this place because there are people there who worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. فَعْبُدِ اللَّهَ مَعَهُمْ. And you should worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala along with those people. So should an alim gave the person one the hukum after being identified that he's an alim. Second, clarify the person the hukum, then also identify the person what he thought was the best situation for him, which is for him to leave that land that he came from and go to another place, but not just any place. A place where those people are involved in worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then be a part of this. So this concerns the alim, having that insight and directing the person to that which is best for him regarding his deen and also his dunya. So from those two ahadith, and also the ulama, that we should look to are those alim who have that type of concern and basira for this ummah. That they want to give us the hukum and also lead us to the way that is also eventually will be for our best regarding our deen or our dunya. Also with this matter, as we mentioned, that we find many as here Islam of thoughts regarding the situation that we live in today, or the time that we live in today, as they may say. As in the hadith, and Abi Wa'il قال كنت جالسا مع عبد الله وأبي موسى. So this person, Abi Wa'il, he states that I was sitting with Abdullah and also Abu Musa al-Ash'ari. فقال, and both of them says, قال رسول الله عليه السلام. So both narrated upon the Prophet عليه السلام. إن بين يدي الساعة, that before the hour should occur, أيام, days, يرفع فيه العلم, that knowledge will be removed. وينزل فيها الجهل, and jahl becomes widespread. ويكثر فيها الحرج, والحرج قتل, and also there will be an abundance, there will be widespread of killing. Hadith muttafaqun alayh. So this hadith again, it shows regarding the Prophet Islam, identifying to us regarding what will be the things that we'll experience and what the things to come in the future. And we may be experiencing some of these things. That knowledge, they will come before the hour, knowledge will be removed. And with the removal of knowledge and the spread of ignorance, what we find? Widespread killing. Sometimes in the name of Islam, and sometimes in whatever other names. So this is the consequence of ignorance becoming widespread, where we have a lack or few of the ulama, and even those who are present, they are not heard or listened to or given the night or any attention, and rather we find that more so knowledge being removed. So this hadith, it can somewhat bring to attention the importance regarding from now the way of trying to take ourselves out of these problems and not fall prey to others, regarding involving ourselves in killing unjustly and the likes, that we need to have knowledge we can distinguish between the haqq wal batil, between Ahl-Sunnah wa Ahl-Dalal, and those upon Markaz-as-Sahih, those upon the correct manhaj, and those upon the manahij al-mukhalifin, and those upon the ways of the mukhalif. And there are many. But the only way that we can distinguish between those things is having ilm. So the Salaf, they always impress upon the people the importance of knowledge. Always try and call the people to knowledge. As the statement of Abdullah ibn Mas'ud قال عليكم بالعلم. So Abdullah ibn Mas'ud قال عليكم بالعلم. I impose, I advise you, I command you that you should seek of ilm. قبل أن يقبض, before it is removed. وقبضه ذهاب أهله, and its going away is by the ulama, them going away. And as we see today, as the days go by, we see more of the ulama going also. They mentioned alaykum bil ilm. Again, I command you regarding ilm. فإن أحدكم لا يدري متى يفتكر إلى ما عنده, and that tomorrow none of you know when you might be in need of what you possess regarding ilm. And today we are in need of this ilm. Each of us is in need of that ilm because of the problems that we're facing. خروج من هنا من هناك, duat على الضلال. Hatta, even sometimes we find people using the name Salafiyah, which is a name which is Tahir, a name which is Mubarak. But we find sometimes people use the name Salafiyah so as to, for their own advantage. People using this name for their own advantage. So of those things that we should, as Abdullah bin Mas'ud, that he can somewhat encourage upon us, that we should seek of ilm. And one day you may be in need of that knowledge. And the only way to distinguish between haqq wal batil is knowledge. Not our own desires. That will not be the thing to be used. It's not looking at fulan and thinking that's the only way. But a person having ilm. So as to distinguish between al-haqq wal batil. So the manhaj of the Salaf-Us-Saalih and the way that gave them this success and triumph is that the Salaf-Us-Saalih, that there are people who are known for ilm, that people who sit in the majalis for ilm. And today, Allah musta'an, as we mentioned, yarfa fiha al-ilm, that in the days to come, knowledge will be removed. So you find that the majalis of ilm, they are very few. And the few that are there, the attendees are very few. So this is concerned that ourselves as individual, we're not that much motivation within ourselves regarding seeking of ilm. And what replaces the seeking of ilm is jahl. We more rely upon jahl or rely upon taqleed of others. Also of those things that we just add regarding particular matter, regarding ilm, wal ulama and the makan, as we mentioned, as Inis mentioned, al-ulama, what al-anbiya, the ulama that did a it shows that this wadifa, this particular duty and responsibility of the Anbiya is something which is noble, and the people have inherited from this other ulama. So by this they deserve our respect and our honor. And even our time, as we mentioned, that we're able to distinguish who are the ulama of Ahl-Sunnah upon the manhaj of the Salaf-Us-Saalih, who are those ulama of today. So of those things that we should try to also able to distinguish those ulama of Ahl-Sunnah that are present amongst us still today. And as we see, as the ulama of Ahl-Sunnah, as they die, the fitna become even more. And also become even more chaos, more confusion, as the ulama, they die out. And now we can see of today regarding this particular matter. So the thing is being able to distinguish the ulama of Ahl-Sunnah from others. قال عبد الرحمن ابن مهدي والعلماء علم الحديث ثلاثا لا يأخذ عنهم. He mentioned that there is 3 groups of people we do not take from. So knowing those people whom we take from and those that we don't. And this is based upon the sifat of those people. Mutahib, he mentioned first, Mutahib bil-kadhib. وصاحب البدع يدعو إلى بدعته. So I mentioned of those people that we do not take from, a person is known that he lies. Mutahib bil-kadhib. And in the Musalah, in the Ahl al-Hadith, Mutahib bil-kadhib is a person that he lies not upon the Prophet Islam, but he lies regarding general calamity between the people. That's Mutahim al-Kadhib. وصاحب, he mentioned the second, صاحب البدع يدعو إلى بدعته. A person upon bid'ah, and he invites, he calls others to this bid'ah. He tries to share this with others. وَالرَّجُلْ غَالِبْ عَلَيْهِ وَهْمْ وَالْغَلَطِ. And a person, third, that a person is known to have excess in errors and in mistakes. Where a person sometimes he says things not knowing what he's saying. So that's concerning those matters. And you find something similar about Imam Malik rahimahullah, when he mentioned لا يأخذ العلم من أربعة ويأخذ من سوى ذلك. That you do not take knowledge from 4 group of people and take from other than this. He mentioned لا يأخذ من سفيه. Do not take knowledge from a person who is stupid. Not that very bright, he's sick, as they say. That's one. So if you find a person that is sick, to have a conversation, discussing with him is impossible. And those ones who are sick today, as they mentioned, man dafa hujjati atala lisani, that's the person's a safi. The person, when he has no proof or evidence, then he just start to use a wild accusation against others. Those are the persons of Safi. Then he mentioned, وَلَا يَأْخُذْ مِنْ صَاحِبْ الْهَوَىٰ يَدْوَ النَّاسِ إِلَىٰ هَوَاهُ. And also not to take none from a person who is known for صَاحِبُ الْهَوَىٰ, that invite others to his hawa. وَلَا مِنْ كَذَّابٍ يَكْذِبْ فِي أَحَادِيثِ النَّاسِ. And also you have to take from a person who is known for a liar, and he lies regarding the conversation of people, the things regarding the matters regarding the people. وَإِنْ كَانَ لَا يَتَّهِمْ أَهْلَ أَحَادِيث Rasul alayhi salam, but even those person he doesn't lie regarding, he's not accused regarding lies upon the Prophet Islam, but he lies amongst the people. وَلَا مِنْ شَيْخ. So also he mentioned, وَلَا مِنْ شَيْخ, not from a shaykh. لَهُ فَضْلُ, he has grace and status. وَالصَّلَاةِ, and also is known for uprightness. وَالْإِبَادَةِ, and also for ibadah, worship. إِذَا كَانَ لَا يَعْرِفْ مَا يُحَدِّثُ, when he is unable to distinguish the things that he says. So you find a person may be a shaykh, رَجُلٌ فَاضِلٌ, رَجُلٌ صَالِحٌ, rather in ibadah, but when he speaks, you don't know where he's coming from. And sometimes you find people of this description. As mentioned, so these are the things that we should be mindful of regarding the people from whom we take from, and this also is a problem facing us today. So being careful regarding the people from whom we take from, and the ulama of Ahl-Sunnah who are still alive before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, of those people, Sheikh Abdul Aziz Ibn Abdullah Ali Sheikh, also of them Sheikh Saleh Ibn Fawzan Al-Fawzan, Sheikh Abdul Karim Al-Khudir, Sheikh Muhammad Al-Ethiopi, and the likes. Sheikh Abdullah, Sheikh Abdul Muhsin, Ibn Hamad, Al-Abbad. These are the people, are some of the ulama of Ahl-Sunnah of contemporary time. Some of the ulama of Ahl-Sunnah in contemporary time. We didn't mention everyone that we knew, but only a few that we knew of, that we chose to mention. So, not to accuse it, I didn't mention the full list. That's not the intention in this particular maqam. Also, those things that Ahl-Sunnah, regarding those upon doubt the Salafiyah and upon the mention of Salaf-Us-Saalih, of those things that they emphasize regarding concerning hirs ala tatbiq al-amali bis-sunnah wa bil-Islam, that the people of Ahl-Sunnah upon the way of the Salaf-Us-Saalih, of those things that also for the people to come back to this way of the Salaf-Us-Saalih, that they were very keen regarding implementing and applying Islam and the Sunnah. So living the Sunnah, making the Sunnah being a reality in our life. Not just something we speak of, but our life does not exemplify the Sunnah. So the Salaf-Us-Saalih, of the inheritance that they have left to us, that they were the most keen and very keen regarding applying and implementing the Sunnah in their life, regarding matters regarding i'tiqad, regarding matters concerning al-amal, regarding concerning ilm, that they were keen regarding implementing the Sunnah in all aspects of their life. So also we should follow suit. The ulama, as we mentioned concerning what Ibn Kathir rahimahullah have mentioned regarding in Surah Al-Fatiha, where subhanahu wa ta'ala يقول اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. Ibn Kathir rahimahullah, he said regarding this ayah, قال regarding this ayah, اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم, that is after the صراط المستقيم, the straight path, as regarding those whom Allah favored them, ممن تقدم من وصفهم ونعتهم, as regarding, we have already mentioned those people regarding who they are. وهم أهل الهداية, and those people, they are the people of guidance, والاستقامة, and the people upon uprightness, والطاعة لله, and those people upon obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, ولرسوله, and also to ورسله, and also to his messengers. So the people upon صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم, those people are those upon أهل الهداية, upon guidance, upon istiqamah, in acting upon Islam. Also those people upon ta'atillah, those people upon obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His Rasul. So those are the people of صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم. Then he mentioned وأمثال وامتثال, and also people أهؤلاء امتثال أوامر, that they try to implement the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, وترك نواهي, and also stay away from those things that are forbidden, وزواجر, and also things that are disliked. Then he mentioned غير صراط المغضوب عليهم وهم الذين, as for those who are the ones who are on the cursed ways, he mentioned هم الذين فسدت إرادتهم, those people that their intention have gone impure, or intention have gone corrupted. Then he mentioned alimu al-haq wa adalu anhu, that those people who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have cursed them are the people alimu al-haq, they knew the haq, wa adalu anhu, but they turned away from it. So they knew the haq, and those people are the Yahud, but what they did, they turned away from it. Wala sarat al-dalin, and as for those people upon sarat al-dalin, the ones who are misguided, hum alladhina faqadu al-ilm, those people who had no knowledge. The people, they missed out regarding knowledge. فَهُمْ آهِمُونَ فِي دَلَالٍ, those are the people that they were somewhat, they become like out of their minds regarding their dalal. So these are the people regarding that we should try to be away from. And he mentioned, those are the people that they did not act upon their religion. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He cursed them from the Yahud. And also those people whom they did things out of knowledge, who are the Nasara. So the Muslim trying to avoid both those two ways. Not being of those people who that we have knowledge of the haqq, but we go away from it and not apply it. And not of those people, we want to do things, but we don't know how to do it. We have no knowledge. So Ahl-Sunnah and Salaf-Us-Saalih, that are the things that can somewhat be combined together, is ilm wal-amal. Ilm wal-amal. As subhanahu wa ta'ala told us in his book, by stating those people in Surah Al-As, by stating wal-as, inna al-insana lafi khusr illa alladhina amanu wa amilu salihat. So that's the matter goes regarding in Surah Al-As, that by time, inna al-insana lafi khusr, that mankind, they're in a state of loss. Then he mentioned illa alladhina, except for those, exempting a certain group of people. Who are they? Illa alladhina amanu wa amilu salihat. Of the description, they are the people of Iman, and also they act upon, they do righteous deeds. So Ahl-Sunnah and the way to Salaf-Us-Saalih is that they encourage regarding implementing Islam. Not just to say we know, but we do opposite. Say we have this Islam, which is this beautiful religion. So the people of the Salaf-Us-Saalih, regarding the things that we need to draw from them and to take from them, is that those people that they were known to act upon their religion in all aspects of their lives, and very keen about this. So the thing is that the way the people of this time, of the way of trying to take from the Salaf-Us-Saalih, and the thing that we are in need of is take from them regarding implementing our religion. Also of those matters that the Salaf-Us-Saalih, they were very keen upon is regarding this matter relating to al-ghulu fi din. So al-wasatiyah, as we mentioned when we started, is also trying to go away from, as they mentioned, al-ghulu wal-jafa. Not going to one if you will go overboard regarding certain things. And today, as we go month by month, another form of extreme is upon us. So yesterday they say Al-Qaeda, then today we have ISIS, or Al-Daesh, and whatever name that they call themselves. But another form of extreme is upon us again. And the consequence is also misrepresentation of Islam. Consequence again, that the Muslim who is there, who wants to go about his normal life, now rules and new laws are being implemented upon him. Because of ghulu fi din. And in Islam, the Prophet Islam have told us regarding this matter, regarding this by stating, as in the hadith of Ibn Abbas, as in the hadith in Ibn Abbas, in the Bukhari. So in the hadith of Ibn Abbas, where the Prophet Islam, that they were doing Hajj, and the Prophet asked him regarding to get some pillars that they wanted to stone the Jamarat. So Ibn Abbas, they came with some small stone that was somewhat large. So here Islam, when he saw this, he mentioned, and he gave him Ibn Abbas, he went and brought some reasonable size stone, some appropriate size stones, that he always mentioned, Nam bi amsal haula. Then yes, this is the example of what we want. These stones are the ones that we're looking for. That he mentioned to him, that he cautioned him, Iyakum wal ghulu fi din. Then also here Islam, after what had occurred, he told Ibn Abbas, Iyakum wal ghulu fi din. That I caution you against going to extreme regarding matters of the deen. فَإِنَّمَا أَحْلَكَ مَنْ كَانَ قَبْلَكُمْ الْغُلُو فِي الدِّينِ. So yes, I mentioned that of the things that caused those people to be destroyed, of those who came before us, before you, because of ghulu fi din, going to extreme. Going to extreme regarding ad-deen. So the Muslim, regarding all the things that we can find in the way of the Salaf-Us-Saalih, and we can take from them and in need of in this time and in all time, is regarding that i'tidal regarding matters. Being the person who is balanced regarding our affairs. Not to go to ghulu, nor go to jafa. And we said mention concerning, in particular concerning al-ghulu, as had mentioned the hadith of the Prophet Islam where he cautioned about ghulu. So Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah, he said regarding this hadith, they mentioned وَآتَ عَامٍ, that this matter about ghulu fi din is something which is general. في جميع أنواع الغلو, in all aspects of ghulu. في الإعتقاد والأعمال, regarding matters relating to i'tiqad wal-amal. So ghulu sometimes may show up regarding our belief, and also it may come to light by way of our actions and other ways. So ghulu is something that we have been cautioned against, and also that the consequence can be severe, as what we're seeing in these times. Also in Islam, another hadith of Ibn Abbas in the Bukhari of Dawood, قال بينما كان النبي عليه السلام يخطب فإذا برجل قائم. The Prophet Islam, he was given a khutbah, an address, and there was a man who was standing. فسأل عنه. So the Prophet عليه السلام, he asked regarding that person. فقالوا Abu Israel, that is person that was standing up. So the Prophet Islam noticed that person just standing there. So he noticed something he was doing was something unusual. So in Islam he asked, who's this person? قالوا Abu Israel. Israel, or Abu Israel, Ibn Hajar rahimahullah in the book Isaba, he called Abu Israel Sahabi Mashhur Bikunyati. That is a Sahabi who is Mashhur, who is well known and famous for his kunya. And there's a difference to the ulama regarding his name. But he is well known more so by way of his kunya, not by his name. And there's a difference regarding what is his actual name. Then he mentioned, so after that they mentioned regarding a particular person, mentioned فقال أبو إسرائيل نذر أن يقوم في الشمس. So the person, he made an oath that he will stand in the shams all the time. ولا يقعد, and he will not sit. ولا يستدل, and he will not go under any shade. ولا يتكلم, and he will not speak to anyone. ويصوم. So the person that made this oath that he will do all these things. Stand only in the sun, not seek shade, not to sit, not to speak to anyone, always be standing, and also to continuously be fasting. So this person putting all these things on himself. Are these things that we should put on ourselves or not? So the Prophet Islam looking at things and weighing things out in a balanced way. فقال عليه السلام مروه, command him فيتكلم, that he should speak. وَلْيَسْتَذِلْ, and he should also seek shade. وَيَحْرُدْ, and also for him to sit. وَلْيَتِمْ صَوْمُ, and for him to complete his sawm. So the Prophet ﷺ was the one to kind of someone to make that call regarding clarifying all the things the person was involved in that was not in line with Islam and that needed to be corrected. So sometimes a person may want to do something that he deemed to be good, that he placed upon himself. But sometimes it's somewhat a bit overburdening. It's too much. It's a little bit excessive. So Islam brought to us a way which is balanced, not going to any extreme. So in trying to apply all Islam, we should not go to these type of extreme. One of the ulama, or one of the mashayikh, rahimahullah, Shaykh Abdul Salam al-Burjis, rahimahullah, he mentioned a statement of this matter that is somewhat caution against ghulu. We mentioned مظاهر الغلو في الاعتقاد والعمل والحكم على الناس. So after the thing that he cautioned, that the appearance of ghulu في matters relating to i'tiqad, and this is the reality that we are finding today, that we find some who go to extreme regarding matters related to i'tiqad. We're also ghulu regarding ways of our actions, of things that we're involved in, and also ghulu regarding hukum ala nas, and also going to extreme regarding ruling placed upon others. And this is of the fitna we find today. Ghulu, regarding some going overboard regarding matters of i'tiqad. They go outside the i'tiqad of Ahl-Sunnah and implement and bring about matters of i'tiqad that actually goes against Ahl-Sunnah and goes against Islam, and make things difficult, principles that Islam did not stipulate. Also we find ghulu regarding our actions, and I mentioned concerning ghulu regarding i'tiqad, of examples of those people who go overboard regarding the Khawarij that are old and still are present. Also Al-Rafida, Jahmiyyah, all those groups went to ghulu regarding matter of i'tiqad, and then they can somewhat from one thing to another. One of the ulama also ghulu, and they mentioned, Shaykh Abdul Salam ibn Burgess, he mentioned that al-ghulu fi al-i'tiqad akhtar anwa al-ghulu. That ghulu in matter of i'tiqad is one of the more dangerous of the forms of ghulu. Then he mentions the statement of Shaykh Allama Sulaiman ibn Samhan, one of the ulama, Ad-Dawat al-Najdiyya, where he mentioned his book, Manhaj al-Haq wal-Ittiba, where he states in this book, وَمِنْ عَلَامَاتٍ, and of the signs, Sahib al-Bid'ah, of the signs of a Sahib al-Bid'ah, Tashdid wa-Ghilza wal-Ghulu fi ad-Din. That a sign of a person of al-Bid'ah is a person being one who is very harsh, and a person very stern, and a person who goes overboard regarding his deen. Mujawazat al-had fil awamir wal nawahi. When a person go overboard, go to the go over the limits regarding the commands and the things that are the prohibitions. So the signs that he mentioned of al-bid'ah is having this tashdid, ghilza, ghulu fi din. So we find ourselves going overboard. Our people who are overboard, they have this shiddah wal ghulu fi din, that this of the signs and the traits of al-bid'ah, and we should be under caution. Also regarding those matters, he mentioned the second type of ghulu fil amal, regarding our actions, and that concerning people going overboard regarding trying to be obedient to Allah, regarding acts of obedience, when they go beyond what the Sharia legislates. So those things are bid'ah, al-amaliyah, al-ghulu fil amal, also a thing that we should be mindful of regarding our actions. And of the ghulu regarding some action we find today, regarding some, that a brother who wants to be upon, show the sunnah in his thawb, but his thawb is above, they call this part of the body, shin. The shin, yeah. His thawb is up here, above halfway, and that's on ghulu, from regarding our thiyab. So he wants to show that he's away from Ismail, but that level also it goes to ghulu. And this is a sign concerning some of the shabab, indahum shay min al-ghulu. We see this amongst them, for Allah Ustaadh. So ghulu regarding our actions also we should be careful. And also ghulu regarding inkar al-munkar, regarding our actions. Also the third will become even more prevalent amongst those who refer to them as intisab al-Sunnah. People, they claim to be of the people of the Sunnah, and even claim to be a people upon Salafiyah. That we see concerning this third case of ghulu fi hukum ala-nas. Ghulu fi hukum ala-nas. And it's something that Shaykh Abdul Salam al-Burj rahimahullah noticed from his time, and who have died over 10 years ago or so. Notice this trend regarding al-ghulu, regarding hukum al-nas. What was if the Shaykh rahimahullah was living today? Amongst Ahl-Sunnah, ghulu regarding hukum al-nas between themselves, among some of them. So no 3 months have passed except another person who was known for the Sunnah is being told he's not for the people of Sunnah and being warned against. So the Shaykh Rahimahullah, he mentioned regarding concerning this matter, regarding al-hukum al-nas, and regarding al-hukum, regarding al-ghulu fi hukum al-nas, we mentioned huwa mujawazat al-had al-shar'i fi ilhaq al-hukum alayhim, regarding the placing hukum upon people contrary to what the Sharia allows, regarding matters concerning al-takfir, or bil-kufr, or tabdi' or bid'ah or bil-tafsik or bil-fisk. So these are here we find that people, some more so regarding people who claim to be of the Sunnah and people who have some kind of love and want to defend the Sunnah, some of them, a minority, that they go overboard regarding passing hukum upon others, regarding takfir. And this becomes the problems that we find today regarding those people who they make this hukum upon others regarding takfir biduni al-dawabit al-shari'ah, regarding takfir. Also the same amongst regarding those concerning tabdi' and warning against others without following straightforward, clear guidelines based upon the Sharia. As these are ahkam al-shari'ah. So they say one person, you are this, but you put it to another person and he's exempt. So this ta'arud fil ahkam only because of ittiba al-hawa. And we find this among some, even those who claim to be people of the Sunnah. So this is the Shaykh, he mentioned that this is the type of the ghulu that we should be mindful of. So trying to follow, mention وَكَذَلِكَ جَعَلْنَاكُمْ أُمَّةً وَسَطًا. And as I mentioned, this is in English Mandarin, that we have made you a nation which is just, balanced, follow away from ghulu. So the Sunnah, the people of Sunnah of our time, and what we're facing today is of dire importance, that we look to the Salaf-Us-Saalih regarding how they were away from ghulu, and how they went against and the people who were known for this ghulu, such as the Khawarij and the likes. So the Muslim of the things is regarding that particular matter, also those matters at hand regarding applicable to the way of the Salaf-Us-Saalih is regarding, especially in our time, the importance, ihtimam بنشر عقيدة السلفية, that we put importance of the Salaf-Us-Saalih, that they are a lot of they place a lot of importance regarding spreading the aqidah, the correct aqidah. And this is the true protection for ourselves. The way to protect ourselves from the fitan wal-bala wa-qurswan is a person holding to the aqidah of Ahl-Sunnah wal-Jama'ah. على منهج السلف-الصالح. So a person holding to this aqidah based upon what as the Salaf were upon. This is the way to gain our security and success. And this can show, or we can find this in the way of the Salaf-Us-Saalih. As in the hadith collected by Imam Muslim, in this particular narration, we are mentioned concerning Yahya ibn Ya'mar, قال كان أول من قال في القدر بالبصرة معبد الجهني. That Yahya ibn Ya'mar, inside Muslim, he mentions that the first person who started to discuss this matter regarding Al-Qadr, one of the pillars of Iman, it occurred in Basra. And the person who started this, he mentioned Ma'bad al-Juhani. This person, as he mentioned, وَغَيْمَةُ الضَّلَالِ. Then he mentioned when they saw this appearance regarding people discuss this person, Yahya ibn Ya'mar, he mentioned, Intalaqtu ana, he said that I and myself, wa Humayd ibn Abdul Rahman, myself and Humayd ibn Abdul Rahman took the journey of Hajj or Umrah. And the intention, kunna, and our intention, law laqina من أصحاب رسول الله السلام. That our intention that we wanted to meet one of the companions of the Prophet Islam, so they can discuss this matter with them. So their intention shows concern that Ahl Sunnah, upon the way of Salaf-Us-Saalih, we do not have taqleed to anyone. And this is what we've been taught by those two, Yahya ibn Ya'mar wa Humayd ibn Abdul Rahman, that their intention was to make this trip of Umrah al-Hajj, because they know in this in Hijaz that the companions, they were still there and intending to meet them. And when they mentioned لو لقينا أحدا من أصحاب رسول الله الإسلام, that our intention, our hope was with this, to meet one of the companions of the Prophet Islam, not to meet a specific person. So in Islam, according to what we've been given by our Salaf-Us-Saalih, they don't make taqleed to anyone. We don't understand ta'assub, where if I have a matter, I must speak to only fulan, even if it's an alim. So this is not the way of the Salaf-Us-Saalih, as we find with some today, that all their affairs must go back to Shaykh Fulan. All their affairs must go back to Fulan. Min Jamaat kada wa kada. This is not from the way of the Salaf-Us-Saalih. We have the Salaf-Us-Saalih mentioned to meet one of the companions of the Prophet Islam. So when we have a matter, let's go back to one of the ulama of Islam. First they mentioned, سألناه أما يقول, and our intention to ask what those people were saying. And this is the way of the Muslim. When matters that are new to us, not just for anyone to speak. This matter concerning Al-Qadr appeared in Basra. Yahya ibn Ya'mar wa Humayd, they didn't start to give their own fatwa and give their own refutation. So the sigar al-talab amthaluna, those people who are still fresh in the talab, it's not for us to start to throw, to hukum upon others and to get into affair that is not ours. And that's what we have lost regarding of what we can take from the Salaf-Us-Saalih. Rather we put it back to the ulama, and to the ulama as a body, not as a specific person in all our affairs, and not for us to precede them, but wait for them. Today we find a different situation. Fulan min al-nas, ask about hukm upon a masjid or an individual. Man anta, who are you to speak? Whatever you say, you will be responsible amam Allah. So whatever you say, know that you will be questioned Yawm al-Qiyamah on that matter. And are you a person to speak? Are you of those people? فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلِ ذِكْرٍ إِن كُنْتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. Ask the people of knowledge if you don't know. Are we of those people of Ahl Dhikr? So the Muslim, we ourselves must have the tarbiyah, that training, that when matters come to us, we don't just ask anyone. That's one. We do not also speak until we ask the appropriate people. And they are the ulama. As a body, we don't have taqleed and ta'assub towards any particular person. Not fulan, from hunak or from hunak. But rather, we ask the ulama and get their understanding. Then we communicate this back to the people as we received it, without adding nor subtracting, especially regarding these serious matters. So they mentioned the matter regarding this matter. They mentioned Wufiq Lana, that they thought they were blessed, they were given, that they were able in their journey to meet Abdullah ibn Umar ibn al-Khattab, one of the kibar ulama from the Sahaba, of those who still were alive then. And that's because of their husn niyyah. The person's intention, those individual, their intention was not to make the problem worse, but they wanted to know, to clarify the matter, but first pass to the ulama. And because their intention was good, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He gave the tawfiq that they were to meet one of the kibar ulama from the Sahaba present then, who was man? Abdullah ibn Umar ibn al-Khattab. Then they put their affairs to Umar ibn al-Khattab, and he mentioned the hadith of Jibreel alayhi salam that is mashhur, well known. But it shows regarding, and the hadith of the things that it explained was the Aqeedah of Ahl-Sunnah. Regarding, as it is the Prophet have mentioned regarding, when he was asked, أخبرني عن الإيمان. And he mentioned the usul of the itiqad of Ahl-Sunnah. And it showed the person who goes away, the problem of this, the person will leave the Aqeedah, will leave the way of Ahl-Sunnah. As those people of Basra, because of their denial of aspect of Qadr, they fell into al-Bidah. So the hadith of Ibn Umar, upon his father Umar al-Khattab, he mentioned of those things that we can take from it. When he mentioned أخبرني al-Iman, then the hadith he mentioned أن تؤمن بالله وملائكته وكتبه al-hadith. So he gave us the usul of the itiqad of Ahl-Sunnah wal Jama'ah. And these are the things that we need all to study and understand. What are those things that distinguish Ahl-Sunnah from others in the abwab individually? Ask most of the people today, and even the main Markaz that claim Salafiyah, without any exception. Now, all of them outline to us what are those abwab of Aqeedah that distinguish Ahl-Sunnah from others. List those things that we need to know, that we need to study. Ask ourselves these questions. What are those things that distinguish Ahl-Sunnah from others? Regarding the matter of itiqad, and most will not be able to list them, other than a few. Other than a few. So with this, the ulama walk in that.
We're going to do the adhan and carry on till past. So we've got 15 minutes left still. Yeah?
After the adhan?
Yes, after the adhan, so 15 minutes.
So in continuing inshallah what we have started and coming to an end regarding this particular matter, we discussed concerning that of those things that we can that we need to take from the Salaf-Us-Saalih regarding what they have left behind for us is taking out that Aqeedah they left, that pure Aqeedah that distinguishes Ahl-Sunnah from Ahl-Bidah, Huda min Ahl Dalal, that we need to we can have people who actually bear and have studied this Aqeedah, not just a claim and hope, but actually we have studied this Aqeedah of Ahl-Sunnah as the Aqeedah was in the Salaf-Us-Saalih. So with this, the ulama, rahimahullah, so as to preserve this aqeedah of Ahl-Sunnah. And not for it to go to be lost. That ulama of Ahl-Sunnah throughout the centuries from the past continue up until today, that they have written many books to outline what is actually aqeedah of Ahl-Sunnah, the aqeedah of the Salaf-Us-Saalih. So for the persons upon who wish to be of Ahl-Sunnah, Al-Manhaj Salaf-Us-Saalih, that we need also to study their books and study the books of aqeedah, so we can actually have that real link with the Salaf-Us-Saalih regarding the aqeedah. So of those books, there are many. Of those books that if we were to ask many today, what are books that we have studied from beginning through to the end? Any book that we have studied, how many books or what book we have studied in aqeedah from the start through to the finish? Which books have we studied? To say that we actually understand and are aware of the matters relating to the aqeedah of Ahl-Sunnah wal Jama'ah. So the ulama rahimahullah wa hafidhahumullah min al-ahya, that they have written many books regarding these matters to preserve the aqeedah of Ahl-Sunnah, not just to put on our shelves, but for these books to be studied and to be read in the masajid and the halaqat al-ilm. So of those books, to outline the aqeedah of Ahl-Sunnah, Kitab al-Iman, the Abu Ubaid, the Abi Ubaid, Qasim ibn Salam, Usul al-Sunnah, the Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal, Sharh al-Sunnah, the Imam Barbahari, also Kitab al-Sunnah, the Imam Asim, Al-Rad al-Jahmiyyah, Al-Rad al-Marisi, Lidadami, and many others, Al-Sharia, the Ajuri, Kitab al-Tawheed, the Ibn Khuzaymah, and many books of Ahl-Sunnah, from the ulama al-kibar, from the Salaf, who have written books to clarify the aqeedah of Ahl-Sunnah. But we cannot have that true connection and make a bona fide claim if we have never studied their books. The claim, if we was to make a claim that we are holding to what they are upon, but have we studied their books? Whether the books of past or the books of ulama of present that outline this aqeedah. So either the people of the thing that we're in need of today, in making that link in a bona fide, genuine way with ourselves and our Salaf-Us-Saalih, is studying their works, studying of their books. See what's contained in these books that they have written that preserve aqeedah and also other matters regarding Islam. So we mentioned, these are the things regarding studying the books of aqeedah from beginning through to the end, and everything concerned with tadarruj. So starting with the beginner's book, then we go to intermediate, or go to a more advanced, but studying the books of the Salaf-Us-Saalih. And there are many today, before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But is the Muslim sitting and going through these books? And requires effort. And many today, we per se, do not have that level of patience. Also of those things, regarding what matter concerning that, taken to the way of the Salaf-Us-Saalih, regarding matter relating to ad-dawah ila Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So giving ad-dawah ila Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ala basira wa ala manhaj al-nabuwah. So giving dawah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is an important matter in Islam, that all of us will try to give some input according to one's ability and to the person's level of knowledge. As mentioned by Allah in his book, by stating importance regarding this particular matter, that by stating, قُلْ هَذِهِ سَبِيلِي أَدْعُو إِلَى اللَّهِ عَلَى بَصِيرَةٍ أَنَا وَمَنِ اتَّبَعَنِي. So Allah mentioned regarding ad-dawah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, قُلْ هَذِهِ سَبِيلِي, that this is my path, أَدْعُو إِلَى اللَّهِ. So call to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, عَلَى بَصِيرَةٍ. But the person that does call in any way, call based upon basira, based upon having knowledge, insight, putting things in their right perspective. So the Muslim trying to be a part of the dawah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but with the condition, it is based upon basira. And with this, Shaykh Allama Abdul Rahman ibn Qasim, in his Hashi ala Kitab al-Tawheed, he mentioned by stating, وَلَا بُدْ لِلدَّعْوَةِ, that dawah is a must. Dawah is a must. وَلَا بُدْ لِلدَّعْوَةِ إِلَى اللَّهِ, that is a must that we should invite to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, according to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. لكن على شرطين, but with two conditions. So according to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, regarding min shartayn, with two conditions. أول أن يكون خالصا لوجه الله, that the one who wants to call to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he does it with sincerity, that a person of sincerity, that he's doing it for the face of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وأن تكون وفق السنة, and the person also, he does this dawah according to the sunnah. We don't do things our own way, but the call to this dawah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala according to the way of the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. وَنَكُونَ الدَّاعِي عَارِفًا بِمَا يَدْعُو إِلَيْهِ, and the person, the da'i, that is clear regarding the thing, that he has knowledge of what he's calling to. Then he mentioned فَإِنْ أَخَلْ بِالْأَوَّلِ كَانَ مُشْرِكًا, that a person, if he misses out on the first, what's the first? Ikhlas. كَانَ مُشْرِكًا, then he becomes a mushrik, because that dawah is to whom? Either to oneself or to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the person who is not calling to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with ikhlas, then he should be careful of shirk. As riya is shirk. وَإِنْ أَخَلْ بِالثَّانِي, what is thani? What's the second? وفق السنة. ونقول الداعي عارفا بما يدعو إليه. Then I mentioned, if a person does not come to the sunnah and يكون عارفا بما يدعو كان مبتدعا, then a person is a what? Of those people are the bidah. So if we are not calling according to the sunnah with ikhlas, be mindful of shirk and be mindful of ibtida' fi deen. And what we find today, unfortunately, many may fall into this. That our way of da'wah, we have to be clear that we do not fall in one of those two setback regarding ashirk wal bid'ah. So the Salaf-Us-Saalih were those people who were keen regarding ad-da'wah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and this way Islam is spread in the time of the Khulafa and after to all parts of the world, and we saw the benefit. But when some of those conditions were not fulfilled, we found what? The Islamic State and the spread of Islam is starting to dwindle. The loss of Andalus, and what we all today, and we find the Muslim places, shirk became apparent. In the land of the Muslim, al-Bidah, it became apparent. And al-Bidah became the ones of strength. Because out on one of those conditions regarding ad-dawah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the person, bear in mind ourselves, bear in mind, take into consideration regarding those two conditions as mentioned by Sheikh Abdul Rahman ibn Qasim rahimahullah. And as yet I mentioned, بَلِّغُ أَنِّي وَلَوْ آيَةً, showing that all of us have a part to play, but based upon what we know. So the person, we call to that hadith after we have known what the ulama said about it. We call to that ayah after reading the books of tafsir. We mentioned that hukum based upon what we have received from the ulama regarding that hukum, not taking things from our own selves. So da'wah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, yes, all can be a part with the conditions that we call to that which we know. Whatever else beyond that, then that's for others. We do not exceed our limits. Class, or what?
3 minutes.
And last and finally, 1 minute is regarding that of the things we take from Salaf-Us-Saalih, matter relating to al-akhlaq wal-adab. The thing we take from Salaf-Us-Saalih regarding the akhlaq, makarim al-akhlaq, wal-mahasid al-amal, that's the thing that we should take from them. And today, Allah musta'an, regarding this particular matter, and we last read and close this hadith, the Prophet mentioned, Inna Allah, I mentioned, Inna rifq, la yakuna fi shay illa zana. That rifq is not placed in a thing except it beautifies that thing. And today amongst ourselves, amongst the du'at to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we have lost our rifq between ourselves. More so between the people of Sunnah. ما كان mention وَلَا يَنْزَعْ مِنْ شَيْءٍ إِلَّا شَانَ, and to remove from a thing, it distorts, it make that thing ugly, disfigure that thing. And that we find today between ourselves. The shiddah, loss of rifq, there's no nasiha between ourselves, but rather everything is done in defaming and passing hukm upon each other that sometimes is beyond what is appropriate. وَبِاللَّهِ تَوْفِيقٌ وَهَذِهِ السَّبِيلُ وَلَا أَحْمَدَ الْحَمْدُ
Okay, Jazakallah khair for Umar for that lecture, and inshallah we'll see him back inshallah in the months to come. And I think there's no time for any questions or anything like that. We're going to end the program now and establish the Isha Salah. And Jazakallah khair for your attendance. Barakallah fikum.
يا خاطب الحور الحسان وطالبا لوصالهن بجنة الحيوان.